Hello, hello. This doesn't need to be on. I'm already hot. This doesn't need to be on. I'm already hot. How's everybody doing? There's only one person. I have, for the first time ever, maybe I have more thumbs up than I have people watching. I don't even know how that happens. Somebody just showed up early, hit the like button, and then left before it started. Oh, who's here? Nobody talking. This show is not supposed to exist. It's probably Paul. But Paul usually talks. Whoever you are that's watching, I appreciate it. Maybe some other people will show up. Slip Kid showed up. Hello, my friend. Oh, whoever shows up is welcome to hang out. Chris Walters, how are you? Good, good. Received 150 comments from people looking at your holding thing. Where I received 150 comments from people looking at your holding thing. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't think I've ever gotten 150 comments on anything. Have I? I might have 150 comments on... I can't think of a video that I would have that many comments on. Certainly not my holding thing. What holding thing are you talking? Use your words. Why Travel's back? That is Sean. Oh, that was quick. That was quick. Got 150 comments from people going to the holding for this live. What are you babbling about? What? What is the holding? I don't know what that means. Turned another pen today from a piece of pecan wood. I've never turned the wood before. I don't know if I have either. I know I have a couple pieces, I think, from my friend Mr. Waldrop. I think I have some pecan. I have some mesquite. Do I have a piece of pecan? Paul? Seems like one of the things that would have been in one of the boxes. Doesn't it? It feels like one of those things that would have been in one of those. I can't remember ever putting it up on the lathe though. Might just still be sitting in a box. How's my... It's not too bad today. It's been doing a little bit of a... I'm turning a ton of mesquite. I have this cool piece of mesquite over here. It's got like a bark, like an inclusion situation. So there's probably going to be some cool figure in around here. And it's pretty fat. I just haven't determined how I'm going to cut it up or what I'm going to use it for. But this is a piece of Paul Waldrop mesquite that he sent. It's got some bark inclusions and things that I just haven't yet determined what. I can already see, like, in through here, there's like some cool figure happening. So I want to make the best use of this piece of wood in terms of its aesthetics. And I haven't decided what that is going to be yet. But in through here is going to be gorgeous. I'm making a router plane out of mesquite. Sweet. I'm going to have a mesquite router plane. Handmade mesquite router plane, courtesy Paul Waldrop. I hope you're all jealous. Because you should be. Because I have better friends than you. Chris is doing a new project. 3 mesquite bowls and 1 walnut bowl and 1 cedar change bowl so far today. That's a lot of turning for a day, my friend. I haven't been doing a lot of turning. Other than classes, I haven't been to, well, my good lathe is down at the shop. I've got a lathe over there, but it's not ready and fully operational yet. But my Laguna lives down at the Crow's Nest now for classes. And honestly, I kind of like, I think I wore myself down. I think it was the 30 bowls that did it. I was like, I did 30 bowls in like 2 days. They were just little, but that one kind of did me in for for turning for a little while. It kind of wore me out. I just haven't really felt the get up and go, the je ne sais quoi for turning since that happened in October. Was it that long ago? No. Maybe. I've turned bits and pieces here or there since then. And like I teach and stuff, so I do get some turning in. But yeah, not a ton the last while. I mean, I'm working on the guitars. I've got this other new top secret, super secret project going on. Obviously, the shop stool. The hatchet, the carving stuff that I've been doing a little bit of here and there. But the Dremel carving class went really well, by the way. Thanks for asking. It was a little loud. I think I may add a note to the class description to say, like, if you have hearing sensitivity, maybe invest in some of those disposable, like roll it between your fingies, stick it in your ear. Or maybe the shop, maybe I can convince Nadia to buy a pack of those, like I don't know what they come in, probably like a 50 pack or something. They come in the little cardboard, you squeeze it together and the top opens, and you get the little, they're yellow most of the time, I think. I was going to ask you about the plane wall. All right. Fearsome's here asking about the plane wall. The 2 planes. One directly above the chisels. And the other to the top of the 3 planes. Okay, well, this one is my Veritas low angle smoother. I don't know what else to say about it. I like it. It's awesome. The other to the top of the 3 planes. I'm going to need more detail on what that means. I agree with Pinnell. Need to put the shop stool outside for a while, and that way you can remake it. Like, yeah, I saw that comment. What is what? Matt, what do you mean the other to the top of the 3 planes? Don't know what that means. The 3 guitar planes that you sent? There's 4. That can't be it. There's 4 there. Top left of the float plane thing. What are you babbling about? The float plane. Okay, I got my little brass, like luthier planes from Paul. I got a Stanley 4.5. I got a Garbage Record 5. I got my Veritas low angle jack. I got a needs to be refurbished Stanley 5.5. Well, I think we're out of, so 5.5, 8, Type 6, number 8. Stop me when I get to the one you're talking about. You're delayed. So over this way, we got my little Fingy plane, garbage Home Depot thing. First ever plane that I bought, I think, probably. A Veritas DX60. Two sort of Krenov style planes that I've made. That's a number 4 that needs refurbishing. And then that guy is my number 6, Type 6 Stanley. In the middle, I've got my Veritas low angle smoother. This guy's cool. This is my little chamfer, or it's a roundover plane, actually. Little rosewood roundo 1/8-inch roundover plane. My apron plane and my 45. Was the low angle jack. That was my first ever Veritas purchase, and it has started the nonsense that is my addiction to Veritas hand planes. I will never buy, to say that for certain, but I probably won't ever buy another new, I'm the first owner of it, hand plane that isn't made by Veritas. Unless it's like a handmade to support another artisan craftsperson type thing. Like if I could ever afford a Sauer and Steiner kind of a thing. A new, out of a factory plane. Lee Nielsen, I have nothing against them. By all accounts, they're equivalent in their quality. Since I have used a Veritas plane, I have pretty much decided that there's no point in me buying a new hand plane that isn't made by them. I'm hot. Don't mind me. Just there's the striptease section of the night. Ugh. There we go. That'll be better. They're all marked for display purposes only. Lies. I used my spoke shave just like a week ago. That's a plane. All right, here's a question. Is a spoke shave a hand plane? It is a blade held at an angle by a casting that moves across a surface. Yes, I would say yes. A spoke shave is a hand plane. Right? I think so. Tim thinks so. Veritas joinery planes are popular, even for fans of Lee Nielsen and Stanley. I would absolutely I want all of them, as we all do. The next one up from Veritas is probably a shoulder plane. Probably the large shoulder plane. Since I have apparently a router plane coming from my friend Paul, it doesn't need to be the router plane necessarily. So probably the shoulder plane next, maybe. We'll see. Everything is a chisel. Sorta. Yeah, I mean, yes. Everything works like a chisel. A chisel held in something that references off a bed. Yeah, yes. I mean, even a saw blade, even a circular saw or a table saw blade is a series of chisels that are just, as the wood goes through, the chisels. Spokeshaves are essentially specialty planes. Yeah. Has a blade placed in a tool at a specific angle to its bed. Yeah. Yeah. I don't care unless I can use it on a lathe. There are other things in the world, Sean. It's not all about turning all the time. Okay. Other people want to talk about other things sometimes. It's not all about you. The show isn't about you. Okay. Got another 3 people through the pen turning class 2 weekends ago. And then 4 people through the Dremel carving class last weekend. It's all about the tellies. Yeah, that's right. This show is all about Waldrop Telecasters. That blue Mamma Jamma with the quilty maple top. The thin, it's got an F hole. Is it a thin line? I don't know if it's actually a thin line. That's a sexy beast of a guitar. I got a rotor plane Preston recast. I got the Veritas and use it over the fancy one. I don't know Preston. Dang, now you just made me make a funnel. I didn't make you do nothing. You did that all on your own. Pay attention. Yes, that thin line. Yeah, that's sexy instrument. And slowly working towards spending more on material than tools. I'm proud of that. That's something to be proud of. I'm at that point. No, I'm not. That's a lie. I don't spend more on materials than tools. But it's because I have I'm pretty well stocked in both of those departments at this point. I don't know the last time I bought a piece of wood. And I don't, in terms of tools, like whenever I buy a tool, at this point it's replacing a tool. So like I'm upgrading a garbage tool, or not garbage, but like, you know what I mean. I am, other than the drum sander that might still happen eventually, like my last tool purchase might have been the planer, and it was just replacing my old planer that wasn't as good. I have 1 more of those tops left. Paid $200 for the chunk of quilted maple and got 6 book match tops out of it. Honestly, I was thinking about doing exactly that with that piece of tiger. It's not quilted, but it's absolutely like fiddleback quality, and it's like 3 inches thick. You guys saw that. Remember that big ass slab that's over there that I was like trying to figure out how to I was going to make a cello back out of a big chunk of it, and at one point we thought maybe it would just be a coffee table. I would just stick some legs on it because it was so pretty. I actually was thinking about like breaking that down into book matched guitar tops, because damn. Preston are the rudder planes hanging behind Paul Sellers. Company made brass ones in New York for a minute. Okay. I'm not ashamed to admit, but I don't watch much Paul Sellers. I've watched a few of his things. I respect him as a craftsman, but I don't watch much of anybody anymore, him included. I can't justify the time spent watching YouTube when I could be being productive, making things myself, recording videos, living my life. Once in a while I'll scroll through my subscriptions and see if anything catches my eye, but I don't watch a ton of YouTube anymore. Paul, how big is your larger bandsaw? I think he's got an 18BX. I don't watch too many of the big guys. I have a Laguna 18BX. Don't you also have a 1412? Or did you end up? I lose track. One of them was you sold something and he gave it back to you, or it was a tradesy for a dirt bike and a pogo stick, and then you traded it back for something. Or no, I wanted you to get a dirt bike and a. You traded a lathe. No, you got your bigger lathe by trading him your bandsaw. And then he gave your bandsaw back to you or something. I don't remember. That's the dream. The resaw bandsaw that can handle big boards. How big a board do you need to resaw, my friend? I can't ever imagine needing to resaw more than 12 inches of board. If I need to resaw more than 12 inches of board, there is something else wrong. Like, I have put myself in a terrible circumstance. If I need to resaw more than 12 inches of board. Bennett's here. How about that film work? How about that camera work on the Hatchet video that released this week, you guys? Right? Like 70% of it. Mr. Mikey B. He didn't have it. Unfortunately, he didn't have anything to do with the edit. That was. We can't blame him for that, but. I got a 12-inch that I shoved 2x8s through, and it wasn't ideal. You had 12-inch bandsaw? It's not about the size of the wheel. It's not. It sounded like I was going to make it. It's not about the size of the wheels. It's about the motion of the ocean, or whatever. I can do 12 inches on my 14-inch Rikon 10326. I resawed the tops off 12-inch guitar bodies on that. And it's on 110. It's I don't know what the horsepower is of it, but it's a 110 circuit. So it's not like a 3 horsepower. There were some really shaky shots. Yeah, that was you. You were furniture size boards, often 2 and 4 footers, rarely a 6 footer for a stretcher. Waldrop's got an almost 14-inch thick piece of mesquite to resaw. Just take it to somebody else and pay them a couple of bucks to resaw it. I don't know that the use case would not be frequent enough for me that like the once in a while that I would need to have it done wouldn't be worth just paying somebody else to do it. if I ever had to resaw something bigger than 12 inches, I would take it to Windsor Mill Sales and have it run through the wood miser. Like, right, Mike? I could do that. Furniture size boards, often 2 and 4 footers, rarely a 6 footer for a stretcher, like a wide dresser. Yeah, I mean it's a lot of it is about the tooth configuration of the blade as well. Like if you're trying to resaw a wide board and you've got like a 6 TPI blade on there, it's don't do that because that's gonna suck shit. Um, and your saw is gonna be mad at you, and you're gonna be there for hours. Maybe not hours, but you know what I mean. Get a. I would resawing anything more than about 6 inches. I wouldn't want to have any more than like 3 TPI on my blade. Like a nice 1/2 inch 3 TPI. There you go. Nice and slow. Let the gullets clear as it's going through the board. As long as it's long enough to fit the clamps and not too hard of a wood. What does it matter? How? What? Why? What does it matter how hard the wood is? The wood miser isn't gonna give a shit if it's mesquite or purple heart. The saw's not gonna notice. I mean, not too hard of a wood. I can see you not wanting anything that might have metal in it. Like if it maybe has screws or nails and stuff, but like the wood miser's not gonna care if it's ebony. First of all, why do I have a 15-inch wide piece of ebony? But wasn't he supposed to be traveling? Oh, Lajeunesse is like, what? I wasn't supposed to be traveling. Okay, the story goes like as follows. The reason tonight's show wasn't supposed to happen was because I was going to be camping out at my buddy Seth's house overnight tonight. And I was going to be going from work out to his place, and we were going to have backyard fire and smokies and beers and camp out in the backyard. And then I scheduled that a long time ago, and I wasn't looking at the date. So when it was starting to creep up, I realized that it's Bowie's birthday weekend. Sven's birthday was yesterday. And then I heard a rumor that we might be leaving to go out of town after work tonight because he wanted to do some stuff in Nanaimo for his birthday. So I canceled. I said I'm probably not going to be able to do backyard camp out this weekend. My bad. And then that was just earlier this week. And then as it got closer, he couldn't get his friends to commit to the weekend or the overnight, and wanted to go to like VR video game places and do some shopping and stuff in Nanaimo. And so I was like, I'm not gonna be able to do camp out weekend because it's boy's birthday weekend. So we'll just reschedule. And then it turned out he couldn't get commitments from his buddies, so now we're not going. And then I only found that out yesterday. And at that point, I was like, that's kind of a dick move to be like, hey, can we just keep the camp out thing on after I canceled it earlier this week? So, yeah. It was I had a commitment that got changed, and then the changed commitment fell apart, and the old commitment wasn't enough time to whatever. bandsaw is never thrilled when I push something through. It wasn't meant for resawn. It's true. There are bandsaws that are not meant for resawn. But all I'm saying is the gist of the story is you don't need a Laguna 18BX to do resawing. 14-inch bandsaws, unibody style bandsaws, the Rikon 326, the Rikon or the Laguna 1412, the King Industrial 14s, any of the sort of European style body. .14s that have a good throat can do lots of resaw work for you. I'm making several benches in a haphazard way because the material is all from the same load of boards. I don't know what those things have to do with each other. Why you got to do it in a haphazard way? Because the material is from the same load of boards. You tried to cut your thumb off as a Yakuza gesture of apology. No, this is the Mike's Wooden Things and Stuff tip of the week. Oh, it's still all bloody. It's still all bloody and sticky. These like snap knives, more often than you think you need to, snap off the knife and get to a fresh part of the knife. Dull blades are more dangerous than sharp blades. And so when you have to really give her to get through something and then it goes, and then your thumb is like even way over here, like you're going and it's not going through, but then it goes, even if you're way over here, and you go wham. I was cutting the stupid little plastic like zap strap things that tie tags to stuff. It was a bag holder, like I bought one of these that you put your garbage bag in there, and it had a piece of cardboard with the little zap straps for the "what is this thing that you're buying" label, and I was cutting those off, and my knife was dull. I was cutting it off, and I would bam into my thumb. So pop the dull one off and get a new chunk of blade more frequently than you think you need to. These things are not that expensive, and they come in like a pack of 10. Just go put a new one in. I'm gonna do that right now. Fuck this. No, I'm not gonna do it right now. But mental note, I got a pack of blades over here. Sure I do, somewhere. Yeah. New pack of blades. I'm not even gonna bother getting down to the new pack of blades. Just get a new one. I'm not gonna do it right now because I'll cut something else. Just trying to do it right now because I'm pissed about it. And it was good too. Like it was one of those ones where you're like, should probably get that sewn back together. But I got shit to do right now. So I'm just gonna wrap it in 3 Veritas Band-Aids and beer. My MDF pile is also insane right now. Congratulations? Question mark? I don't know if that were you bragging or are you upset about that? I can never tell. I would not enjoy having an MDF pile. Oh, I have fewer thumbs than people. Come on, my friends. I don't want an MDF pile. I use MDF to make templates, and that's even that's more than I want to use it for. Walter, I hate MDF. Yeah, it has its place. I just don't. If I could go the rest of my life without using MDF, I would happily do so. Latinus just got here. You didn't just get here. Okay, you've been here at least a dozen minutes. I'm saying my shop is in a state. Yeah, mine is state-like. It's not as bad as it has been. It's not as good as it should be. Only use it for the only use for it is when I have to turn a bowl around. I use it for some things. Templates. It makes a perfectly good paint surface for like painted frame and panel doors. I don't do a ton of that. I used it for the tray bottoms on my jewelry boxes that I was fabricking. Oh, who's going to show this off? I got some new fabrics that I am going to be incorporating into some things. Some fancy new bits of fabric that are going to be finding their way into some things. I like that. That's got cool things going on in it. Thrift store shopping. They got little bits and bobs and scarves and roll ends and stuff of fabric. Look at this guy. That's a loud mamma jamma. Got this is kind of like almost a silk. It's got some cool stuff going on in it. And then I got a purple stretchy, and like a fair bit of that. So got some new bits of fabric to add to the fabric bin. I'm going to be incorporating a little bit more fabric in a few things going forward. I do like a fabric lined drawer, especially in small things. Little boxes with drawers and stuff, nice fabric and a pop of color inside there. 'Tis me, Sir Boddart, here to ask trick questions. Bring it on. Using MDF for weight. Top of one bench is 4 sheets. 4 stacked sheets of MDF, like 3/4 inch MDF. That is dumb. What? This sounds stupid. What are you doing? I'm judging you now, by the way. That sounds ridiculous. Where does that go on the guitar? The fabric goes on the guitar right under the shut up. Um, it's for drawer liners and stuff, man. Come on. I like my underwear to be made of fabric. See, Sean has good thoughts. Actually, this would make good underwear. This stuff, this little stretchy purple stuff. It'll probably almost inevitably be box liners and drawer liners and stuff in little mini drawers, little fabric on the bottom of the drawer. Maybe I cut up a bunch of it and make like a micarta type situation. There's like little resin, little piece of fabric, little resin, a little piece of fabric, and then press it together and make a turning blank. Make a pen out of it. You don't know. Probably drawer liners and box liners. If you watched the jewelry box video, you'll know that the little drop-in bottom box liners were fabriced. I have a friend who makes tellies and wraps them in fabric. I have seen fabric added to the front of especially flat top guitars and then sort of epoxy over, and they just basically use the fabric as the print, like as the aesthetic design. That could be cool. Could use it to fill behind the pickups. I suppose I could. Not gonna, but it's possible, I suppose. It's a Chris Tribe bench, UK hand tool woodworking teacher and author. You tell Chris Tribe that he is stupid. That sounds fucking dumb. Just, it's not going to be any less work than just like ripping a bunch of pine into strips and laminating it back together. No, don't do that. Whatever he's talking about, don't do that. Oh, I lost thumbs. I was just kidding. Like, this show's about having fun. Mike is secretly a seamstress on Wednesdays. No, I haven't operated a piece of sewing equipment over 20 years. But I like a nice pop of fabric on a drawer bottom. What's wrong with you guys? PRS uses MDF in some of their electric guitar models. Yeah, this is true. As does Fender, I think. I want to see that exact pen you just described. Oh, with the fabric and the epoxy? Make it in a timely fashion. We've met me, right? I think it's unlikely. But, I mean, maybe? Depends. It also depends on what you mean by in a timely fashion. Like if you're talking the next couple of weeks, probably not. Too much other stuff going on. I'm trying to finish 2 guitars and a shop stool. Come on, just make the pen. I'd be willing to bet you are within 14 feet of everything you would need to do so. Accurate. Except the lathe. I don't think I can't do pen turning on my lathe that's 14 feet away from me. Because tailstock, I don't have confidence in tailstock matching up with headstock on that guy. So I would have to actually turn it down at the crow's nest where my good lathe lives. I could make the blank with everything I need to make the blank is within 14 feet of me. He tried start a Canadian sweatshop, but forgot to hire anyone. He sits there with shirt off, alternating between sewing and whipping himself. See, if you're gonna make a joke, grab a tape from the stool. What? Are you talking about? Make a guitar-themed shop stool. It's playable. Have 4 instruments in one stool, all tuned differently. That sounds dumber than that MDF workbench. I mean, I want somebody else to do that. But it sounds really stupid. The tiny keyboard on the phone plus fat fingers. Okay, well, just slow. Be more deliberate. And then if you mess up a word, go back, fix it, move on to the next word. You lost my point. I meant grab a tape and measure around the shop. You can reach all things within 14 feet. I know, but what you said was, I'm willing to bet that you're within 14 feet of all of the things you need to be able to do that. And I was just saying, I'm not 14 feet, I'm not within 14 feet of a lathe that can do that. Everything else, yes. And I don't, I am. I was going to say, I don't think I'm within 14 feet of the epoxy that I would use, but I am. It's over there. Bailey Woodworks is here. The show moves fast, and your memory is suspect. I disagree. You're already behind the curve in terms of like when your message is going to come through. So just take the extra 7 seconds when you're typing to make sure your words make sense. You have a lathe that can't make a pen? I do. It's right over there. It's made out of granite. And it's not that it can't make a pen. It's that it can't make a pen right now. Because I need to fix the quill of the tailstock and rejig the whatever the part is that secures the tailstock underneath the bed. Because I think you were there. Yeah, well, I know you were there when we brought it to the shop. Remember that piece that you were like, this came off and it was a broken? Pretty sure that piece aligns the tailstock. It is underneath on the wedging to secure it down to make sure that it's aligned properly with the headstock. The lathe still needs some work. I can do bowls on it, especially once I get a welder to fix me up a little bit of tool rest action. I can turn bowls. Basically anything not between centers, I can do on that. Soon. It needs some work. Shut up. I got it for like $100. On the plus side, I know which thumb to hit now. Yeah, I'll hit your thumb. Bailey Woodworks turns pens and trumpet parts with his lathe. I didn't watch the trumpet part video yet. I did see the video come through. Like I said, I don't spend a lot of time in front of YouTube anymore. But I did see that, like, making your own trumpet parts, question mark, or whatever it was called. I was like, I'm going to watch that eventually. Then I closed the app. Because I just don't. I'm busy. I'm busy drinking with my friends on the internet, okay? How rad is this hatchet, though? Right? Like, if you guys haven't seen the video yet, it released yesterday. It has mistakes were made. But yeah. Speaking of tools that I won't use, you guys were making fun of me for not using my planes. I don't hatchetize things very often. I can't even remember the last time I hatchetized something. But it's sexy. The next time I have to hatchetize something, I got a really cool one of those. Man, I need you to fix mine. I don't want to do that. You saw how shitty I was at doing this, right? Oh, my friend Haywood is here. A badass hatchet. I agree. It's one of the most attractive hatchets I've ever seen. And it's sharper than most hatchets. It's an improvement over what the hatchet that got refurbished into this one. This one is way better than the one that got made into this one. But I just don't hatchetize things very often. Did Bennett get credit for the filming? If you would like to give Bennett credit for the film, I did talk about how he was involved in the filming. I want to say about, probably 70% of the shots in that video he filmed. There was a fair bit that I did when he wasn't here that were just stationary, set up the camera and go. I mean, you should be able to tell where there's a cameraman and where there isn't. But turned out pretty freaking good. What, your camera work? Or he also did, I will happily admit, Mike also did a little bit of the spoke shaving on the handle, because when we also did the spoke shave unboxing video when we were filming this, and I was like, ooh, you gotta try this, and I let him try it a little bit on the handle. So a little bit in through here was spoke shaved by my friend Mikey B. Trying to remember if I saw his name at the end of the video. You did not. I have asked him, though. I have asked him, I said, would you like a credit on these when you are involved in the project? And he has said, dude, I don't give a shit. I don't care. It's like, okay, let me know, because I like to give credit where it's due. If you would like a credit, I will give it to you. It's my birthday weekend. Bailey's Woodworks. It's my boy's birthday. It was yesterday. Was my boy's birthday. I'm in need of a custom handle. See, you said this for your crappy old Pulaski. firefighter's pickaxe type of tool. Pick R, technically. I'm guessing pickaxe. That's not actually that. I don't. That sounds fun, actually. A firefighter pickaxe thing. Is it a big long handle dealie? I'm gonna look this up. Pulaski. You come by, my friend. It's been too long since you've come by. You bring it the next time you come, and we'll make one together. We'll rehandle your Pulaski. I absolutely love that some of the things I filmed ended up in your show intro. Permanent. I was going to write a pun about an axe, but I couldn't come up with anything sharp enough. Oh! It's a long-handled axe. It's in the mail? Oof. I don't believe you. I'll save it for you for when you come by. You guys come for a visit. We'll spend a day in the shop and we'll rehandle it for you. Our handle's always hickory. Nope. What's a good handle for a wood chopping axe? Hickory. Hickory is a good wood for an axe. What you should do is you should go listen to my friend Shannon's podcast called The Lumber Industry Update. He has an episode on what would be the one that you would want to listen to. I talked to him about whether or not Sapele was going to be a decent idea for this project. And it was a long conversation, but he was like, you answered your own question, my friend. Like, it'll be fun. But yeah, it's a matter of the MOE, MOR rating of the wood that you're using, the orientation of the grain, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Hickory is traditionally used in wood because of its MOE, MOR ratio. That's modulus of rupture and modulus of elasticity, in case you are not familiar. Traits and qualities of wood that are measurable. Trying to think of the episode of that show that you want to. I'll think on that, and I will maybe remember it for next week. It's probably just listen to Shannon's podcast episodes on the modulus of. Does he have an episode that's on the modulus of elasticity? Because that'll be it, probably. Talks about how bats used to be made out of hickory and before they went to maple, and the differences in the springiness. The reason that some woods are great for making bows and others aren't is because of the elasticity and et cetera, et cetera. Great. I've talked about it before. Listen to Shannon's podcast. He is a smart dude and is constantly trying to know more and sharing that with us. You're welcome, Shannon. Here. He doesn't watch this. I call him my friend because I like to feel special. He has no idea who I am other than the fact that I pay him money for what he does. And we talk. And we only talk because I pay him money to do what he does. That's not true. We talked before that. Before I started paying him money on his Patreon page, we had conversations. Osage orange is a great wood for making bows. It's true. That's why it's sometimes referred to as Bodark. Because people call it Bodark, like BODARK, D-A-R-K. It's actually Beau Dark. They got Beau Dark because Americans like to anglicize French things and stuff. So it was Beau Dark with a C. It was Beau Dark, and yeah, Bois d'Art. It's a Beau wood got mashed together into Beau Dark. Bois Dark. Yeah. Really have some Osage orange logs. Yeah, get that shit rived out. You want it to be riven probably to be making bows with it because you want that grain, continuous grain if you can, so that things aren't gonna snap and whatever. But yeah, bow making is it's a different field. It's like luthiery. Like it needs its own category, or turning. It's its own category of woodworking, bow making. I was hand burning some information onto handmade wooden bows today at work, actually. There's a local guy brought in a couple of homemade wooden bows, and he wanted like the pound draw and stuff, like wood burned onto it. And he's like, my handwriting sucks. Can you guys do this? I was like, sure. Here's a tip. If you ever want anything customized through either wood burning or another artist helping you do something to your work, bring it to them pre-finished, please. Because you smear in a bunch of true oil and then you put a couple layers of shellac over it, and then you bring it to somebody and ask them to wood burn stuff into it. It sucks. It sucks for them. So bring it to them unfinished, finish over their work. How did the class go? Todd, show up on time and you'll have known. But I appreciate you asking. Nobody else asked. It was good. It went, oh, you guys hear the screw fall out of the shop still? Yeah, I had 4 people in the Dremel carving class. They all had a blast, and I got really good feedback from them about it. And I couldn't get all 4 of them. I didn't get any of them through 2 pendants. The idea was to start with an intro pendant to get the feel for tools and the process and stuff, and then we could move on to a second one as your like good one. And nobody got through the second one, so I can tighten things up, I think, a little bit for future classes and spend less time jabbering at the beginning with education, and get people into the playing aspect quicker, move them through the first one a little bit quicker so that we have some more time for the second one. But yeah, it was a learning experience for all of us, and it went really well, I thought, and they seemed to agree. Never mind that. I just told you. We're having fun. My granddad was full-blood Lakota Sioux. Hey, taught me the art of fletching. Made my Weeblo Scouts arrows myself, including making the arrowheads using flint knapping. Sweet. Now you just got to get some Beau Dark and yeah, so this guy's got these handmade bows. He basically just wants his name and like the pound draw and stuff burned on them, which I did today, and it's fine. But bring your stuff to other people if they need to have work done on them, not finished work. Like, it should not have layers of shellac and true oil and stuff on it. when you give it to another artist. Raw wood. Finish should be the last thing that happens. You should get it back from all of the other artists that need to have worked on it before you apply finish. We have water going wild around here. It's hell to cut that stuff down. Is it spiky? Is it one of those ones where the tree itself is spiky? There are a few trees that I've heard have like a natural defense, like pufferfish, where they get like spikes. And I thought maybe Bois d'Arc was one of them. Locust is spiky. Okay, that's maybe where my head was going. Spiky and full of a thick, milky sap. That sounds terrible. That sounds as bad as multiple layers of MDF made into a workbench. I have a feeling it probably rives pretty nicely though, because it's a bow wood. I feel like maybe it shouldn't be going through a sawmill and it should be going through a froe and wedges and getting split. You guys just aren't processing it right. And the bows that I was working on today were absolutely maple and something that I didn't know exactly what it was. There was some Purple Heart involved. There's a bunch of leather involved. It was a lamination. There was some fiberglass involved. Like, yeah. I'm not going to disparage another craftsperson. But it feels like he's still feeling things out a little bit. I think he actually admitted that. He was like, this was my first one. This was my second one. I'm up to like 5 or 6 now. Okay, cool. Doesn't rot hardly at all. There are okay country homes around here. The foundation sitting on Bois d'Arc. Like, yeah, it's one of those good exterior woods. Then I guess fence posts would probably be great. You toss a chunk in for the next box that comes my way. I got it. It's growing like weeds around you. Just go like hack a branch off something. I'm going to have myself one of my dirty cigarettes. No. I sent you some already? Really? I can't keep track, my friend. There's too many pieces of Paul Waldrop wood. Both stabilized and au natural in my wood collection. I should really get to that some of these days. Some of these days, he says. I think it's labeled Osage Orange. Okay, I will have a look through the Waldrop boxes and see if I can find it. Is it pretty? Or is it kind of a plain... I can't imagine it being pretty if it's like if it's straight grained enough to be riven and made into bows, I can't imagine it having a lot of figure and coolness. Because that would, to me, that would imply the opposite of being good for being riven and made into a bow. You would want something not interesting to be making a bow out of for strength. Yellowish in color and not real grainy. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I want to eventually turn everything. So, well, I want to eventually work with everything. At the end of my life, I want to be able to say, I made something out of every kind of wood. It'll never happen, but like that would be rad to be able to say, like, there's only a couple of woods that I didn't get to make something out of. And speaking of wood appreciation, kind of, one of my next upcoming videos is going to be me speaking of wood appreciation and my boy Mikey B. We went for a little stroll in the woods looking at trees a little while ago, and I took the camera with us, and I'm going to do a video on, like, let's remember where this stuff comes from, and like having a sort of an appreciation for the natural world while we are chopping it up and making things out of it kind of video. So I'm still, like, we've gone for the walk and filmed it and stuff, but I want to frame it in a way. I've got some ideas for framing this video in a way that I think might be of benefit to some people. One of Mike's little toy trucks might make an appearance. Mikey B himself is 100% gonna make an appearance. I think it'll be a good one. I think, like, yeah, if I can frame it properly and tell the story that I want to tell, I think it'll be a good video for people. I'm just not sure what the plot of that video looks like just yet. You could stay. You made a pen out of stabilized moose poop. I could say, I assume say, I could say that, but it wouldn't be true. I will do that one day. I do have a stabilized moose poop blank. I did the Corian countertop. Okay, cut me some slack. I did at least one of the weird things that you sent. You can't say I never do anything with the wood that you send. Well, wait. Have I ever done anything with the wood that you sent? I did something with the Corian countertop. That's not wood. No, I've done things with wood that you've sent. I made a batch of marking knives. A limited edition run of Mike's Wooden Things and Stuff marking knives with wood that you sent. This is a really, really good business decision. Pants, marking knives, keychains. I made keychains out of Waldrop guitars offcuts, in fact. Neck of a Waldrop guitar. I think it was a neck chunk that I made, and they sold immediately because they were rad. Oh, and one day I'll do something with that Thuya burl. It's another one of those ones where you're like, you just can't convince yourself what it's going to be for. You know, it's too pretty. It was like the blank that I made those marking knives out of. I was like, I have to make the best use of this possible. By the way, there are still Mike's Wooden Things and Stuff limited edition marking knives available. Because I'm good at business. Beer. Who's got one? Any of you guys got one? Todd. Nope. Matt? One of you guys has one. That's the bottom of that one. Eric's got one. That's true. I haven't seen Eric tonight, though. He probably doesn't think the show is happening. Todd says not me. Maybe Matt. Somebody does. And my boy John has two, except I think he bought one as a gift. And Eric has one. I think there are 4 left. 5 left, maybe, of the 10 that I made. 8 out of the stabilized double-dyed burl. And then 2 I made out of Cocobolo, which I believe were also a Paul Waldrop contribution. There's Eric right here. You're like honest testimonial, Eric. I'm not paying you to tell people about the marking knife. Is it a good knife? I was going to get one, but I wound up making a few out of old saw blades and sold them all. You don't need to contribute any more to the Mike's Wooden Things and Stuff endeavor. Bloody great, very sharp. Yeah, they're very sharp. They're almost too sharp as marking knives, to be honest. I'm not a good salesperson. It's a good knife. You can use it for apples, and I tried one night, but you wouldn't name a price. No, I named a price and told you not to pay Google that price. Because you were trying to pay it in a super chat. I was like, why would you give Google a third of the price? Like, if you pay $70 right now to Google, I only get 40 of those dollars. Don't do that. He's got enough money. They have enough money. I remember that conversation. Don't. I still have a few. Let's just leave it at that. I still have a few, and they are available. I use mine all the time down at the shop. Well, I sent a check, and we know how that went. Yeah, it's still over there in the box. It probably isn't valid anymore. At least I didn't cash it and then not give you anything. Like, I could have done that. I could have like cashed the check and then not given you anything. So there's I know I still feel bad about how that all went. I still have your piece of bloodwood. I can literally see it right there. It's still set right there beside the lathe, well, in the tool cab rack. No, you probably don't believe me. Here is your piece of bloodwood that you sent me to make a pen out of. But then I didn't get around to it. And you made yourself a bloodwood pen. And then I said, hey, does that mean I don't have to do that anymore? And you said, yes, that's what that means. I hope that's how that went. And see, like everybody thinks, maybe not, but a lot of people are like, oh my God, your shop's so messy. I know where everything is in this place. If it's in here, I know where it is. Corian, destroyer of router bits. I can imagine that's probably true. It wasn't too bad to turn, surprisingly. It was a very hard epoxy type. I don't remember it being that difficult to turn. It was smoother than I remember it being smoother to turn than I thought that it would be. And it made a very nice concava pen. I remember weird things, weirdly specific things. I have not problems making my templates out of Corian using router bits. It just makes a bunch of dust you don't want to breathe. Yeah, I could imagine it'd be not great dust for your lungs. Corian guitar templates. Nice. If I had a model of guitar, which I'm working on, I could see having a Corian template being of benefit. And if I made Telecasters, if all I did was Telecasters, like somebody else I know, you're damn right. I would have those templates made out of Corian. Because you'd make them out of MDF and then you're making one every 4 or 5 months, maybe. Yeah, it's a good idea. Just wish I could get it 3/4 of an inch thick instead of 1/2 inch. Just be careful and don't drop the template. Why do you need a 3/4 inch thick guitar body template? 1/2 inch is lots of material for a template, my friend. I mean, I'm sure you have your reasons. You know what you want more than I would, but I don't think I would want a 3/4 inch template of anything. I have a 3/4 inch neck template for my model of guitar, and I wish it was a 1/2 inch. I wish it was out of Corian now that we're talking about it, but I don't don't see a thicker template being of benefit. Unless if you drop a 1/2 inch Corian template, does it smash into little bits? If it was 3/4, I could do it with just one router. One. Trying to piece together why you could, what the difference is. Why can't you do it with just one router if it's a 1/2 inch template? I'm not making that connection. Breaks into chunks. If you drop it, yeah, so don't. Or have a nice soft floor. I use Corian cutting board. Factory nearby. Employees take the sink pieces home. Yeah. Make cutting boards. Their price is based on how many bits are eaten up. Yeah. This is an $80 cutting board because it cost me $40 in router bits. Because my bits are 3/4 and I tell you neck pocket is 5/8. I see. Depth of cut for non-through. I wasn't making the connection about the fact that some of these router operations are non-entirety. I was just picturing the outside of the body. You're right. You're right. Totally wasn't thinking about like neck pockets and pickup cavities and stuff. I was just going like, we go around the thing. Like, what does it matter how the... Also, Paul, you need to get a router table that has a lock on its bit height. Or a better router in that router table. Because that's ridiculous that when you run a router bit, it creeps up or down in your router table. That's a problem, my friend. I don't know if we've talked about that or not, but that's a situation. Makes me have to do it in 3 stages instead of using one router. I have to use 2. Yeah, I get it. I almost missed the canceled show. Don't you dare. I'm not going to explain again why the canceled, uncanceled situation. You have to watch it back after the fact and watch the whole show from the start. Give me them view minutes. Long story short, I uncanceled the canceled show. Only does that with the weird bit. That is strange to me. There shouldn't be a difference in, unless it's a manufacturer defect in the size of that post. It shouldn't be creeping, like it shouldn't be pulling up or down your router in its base. The bit shouldn't affect that. So let's and even if it is the bit that does it, it shouldn't be able to, because your router, the body of the router should be locked in place. There should not be any way for it to move up and down. So either it was the bit itself was traveling in the collet, or there's something wrong with the mechanism that's holding your router to its base. And if it doesn't do that for other bits, I would assume that it's a manufacturer defect of that bit, that it's not securely fastening. And it was probably about to come out of that collet and shoot at your face. Was it a metric? Maybe it was a metric bit and it was like what would that be? 8 millimeter instead of a 1/2 inch. And so it didn't lock securely in the collet. I don't know, but that's bad scene. But like I said, if it doesn't do that with any other bits other than that one, that's a bit problem and not. I just cannot picture how that was. Did it get ironed out? Did you go, hey, Rockler, and they fix it? Or did you just do like I did with the Beaver chuck and be like, well, you shouldn't have spent my money on that? 8 millimeter is a 1/2 inch? Question mark. What kind of beer is that? This is Sleeman. I'm not a metric to Imperial guy. I was just guessing. What's a 1/2 inch in metric? It's about uh, 12. So yeah, 12. It's just over a centimeter. 12, maybe. Oh, 13. Okay, 13. The bit was almost $100. Ooh, they refunded you. Okay, good. 13. Y Travel says 5. That's incorrect. 12.5. Yeah, so a 1/2 inch is about like that, and a centimeter is about like that. We know that I don't measure, right? Like, one inch is 2.54 centimeters. Don't make me do math. I don't believe you. That's not 2.54 centimeters. I'm not gonna. I don't have Pinnell here to fact check me. He's on an exotic Caribbean vacation with a swim up pool at the Best Western Punta Cana, and he can't be here to fact check things. So never used metrics. I don't even measure if I can help it. I check my bits often during projects. Give it the wiggle, check the bearing bolt. Want to screw up the project. Yep. Eventually we'll get a locking lift for your table. Lift I have was $300. Getting another lift would mean I completely replace the router tabletop also. Why don't you just spend some of your hundreds of thousands of spare dollars, clearly, because we all just have like thousands of dollars laying around. You just go get like the Jessam entire setup. Go get the table and the lift, and with the top and the fancy fences and everything. What's a full on Jessam or Incra router table setup worth? Couple grand? Probably a couple grand. And then you get a Festool OF 1400 in there for another couple grand. Plywood comes in metric. It's easy to remember. Yeah, it might come in metric. It's measured in metric, but it's not sold in metric. We buy 3/4 inch plywood here. It's not 3/4 of an inch because it's made in metric, but it's not sold as metric. Just finished a 6.5 inch plate since you made me make a funnel. I will punch you right in the throat, Sean. I didn't make you do anything. Finished a 6.5 inch plate. That's a really small plate. Why are you making such small plates, idiot? I hope that we're all still, like, I hope we're all on the same page, and that was funny. Because what I actually meant was, hey, good work. I bet it's cool. What, $1,000? It's always $1,000. Yeah, I don't know that you could get the full-on router table setup for $1,000 from a reputable company that produces quality work. I've made it out of fucking fake cherry veneered MDF and cherry. I have a video on my channel. It's probably one of my most viewed videos of all time, was installing the router table in the wing of my table saw. Very, very early on. Don't judge. Well, judge me all you want. But it does what I need it to do. It's a mounted router underneath the wing of my table saw. And it doesn't go up and down when I spin bits in it. So, and I made it for $11. I thought about getting the cast iron router tabletop. Would have buy another lift. Yeah. I don't have a lift. I reach underneath and turn the dial with my thumb. It's not convenient, but does what it needs to do. Mini lathe donkey. Well, if that wasn't funny, you must be here to learn. If that wasn't funny, you're probably new, and I hope you come to understand. You're welcome here. These are the types of things that are going to happen. 6.5 inches is a perfectly acceptable size. Well, that's what your mom told me. That was, let's leave moms out of this. Okay. Let's, at work today, I was talking to Nadia, my boss, and friend of mine, but also my employer, while I was there getting paid. And we were having a conversation, and I realized that things were coming out of my face, like words were coming out that were like somewhat inappropriate for a workplace environment. And I stopped. It was just the two of us though. Like there wasn't public or anything. And I literally said to her out loud, I was like, I feel like I'm on my live YouTube show right now because things are coming into my head and they're just going straight out my mouth. And maybe I should stop. Because I think the Jessam setup is worth it, but I avoid metal stands, and I've seen guys who plop the whole thing on a wood cabinet. Yeah. I probably would do the same thing too. I just don't like the splay that a lot of metal stands have. Because it ends up taking up more floor space because of the splay that metal stands have to have. So even when I eventually get a drum sander and it'll come on one of these like splayed leg metal stands, I'll probably put it in a wooden cabinet. Because it'll be a cool project to do, to build a box to put my thing on, and it'll have storage inside, and it'll also remove the excess floor space that angle needs to take up. Here. My first garbage contractor table saw had those splayed legs, and it was like you go by it and you'd like trip over the legs because they stick out further than the top of the table saw. It's dumb. Did like the shop made Moxon vise. When I need to pull it out, it is a fantastic handy thing to have around. It's another early video. Was the make a Moxon vise out of pipe clamps and some plywood. I use it for dovetails. I just C-clamp it to the end of the bench. I made it to fit the end of my bench, and I think I have maybe 16 inches between those screws. So I could theoretically dovetail a 16-inch piece of wood in that Moxon vise. I took my table saw off the stand and built a place for it on my router table. What? I use my router table as an outfeed table. Yeah, cool. I was going to compliment you on the portable vise. It's a great thing to just load up on the end of the bench when I need like a twin screw action, because I got my leg vise over here on the bench, but I only have about 3 inches of room on either side of the screw of my leg vise. So panel things and hatchet heads. It's a good thing to have laying around. I'm happy that I made it very early on in my woodwork. Might have been a Jay Bates, to give credit where credit's due. I'm sure he didn't invent it. He probably got it from somewhere also. And I did change the design a little bit, but the idea of making a Moxon vise out of pipe clamps, I think I got from Jay Bates. Back when he did woodworking. I made a Moxon vise for my bench. It's great to have an extra hand at times. Yeah. I like the, it's almost a quick release because it's got the twin screw situation. So you can loosen and tighten just one side and get things back in and out, and the other side just stays. Cannot figure out how you fit so much in such a small area. Me? It's not awesome. Yeah, you're not wrong. It's pretty well, in terms of the machinery, it's pretty optimized, and it's pretty crowded. Like, I've had people ask me if they could come in for like private lessons and stuff in my shop, and I'm like, there's there's barely enough room for me and a cameraman. Like when Mike comes to film, we have to maneuver around each other. Oh, you're talking about Paul. Well, oh, I thought things were relatively tight. Yeah. Yeah. No, Paul's got a smaller shop than I do. But his lathe is in a separate shop, I think. And it's a bit better organized than I am. Shut up. His saw is smaller. His table saw is smaller. His bandsaw is bigger. You got a jointer? His lathe and stuff is in another shop. Yeah, well, he's just better than me. Okay, like, can we just move on? My shop is, sorry, I'm reading multiple things at the same. My shop is about the same size as Mike's, with about the same stuff, except I also have a scroll saw. Yeah, but do you have a shop fridge? Do you have dust collectors that you don't use? Do you have a whiskey cabinet? These are things that I have that you may or may not have. My shop is not ideally set up. Yeah, everybody's shop is a work in progress, right? We're all constantly working on. I have excess storage space that still has like dead cans of paint from when I moved into the house under there. Could be better utilized. We're all a work in progress. My jointer is on a cabinet, planer on a cabinet. Paul's got a Supermax sander. I'm gonna get one of those too. Shut up. I have a shop fridge, dust collector, scroll saw. We weren't talking about you right now, okay, Paul? We've already established that you're better than me. Okay, we're arguing about who's better between me and Matt. 4-inch jointer. It's good. Yeah, a 4-inch jointer. Honestly, most of the time I could get by with a 4-inch jointer. I almost always am just edge jointing. I do some face jointing, but not, yeah. My shop is an 8x8 shed with a 2-foot workbench around 2 walls. Yeah, but all you do is fiddle with toy trucks. So that's all you need. It's not like you make things, Mike. Damn. I'm getting saucy. You're a good friend and I appreciate you. I'm always adjusting things because I keep buying stuff. Yeah, that's part of it. But it's also efficient sizing. Becoming more efficient. And like, I almost wish that I had fewer horizontal surfaces that could gather clutter. Because I think it would keep me more, well, it would keep me from getting so fucking messy all the time. Just like, oh, this doesn't belong here. I'll just put it over here because there's another flat horizontal surface. Yeah. Four inches is a perfectly acceptable size for a Canadian. I've never had any complaints. Let's just say that. Now you're just messing with me. At least you did the right your that time. We're all just having fun. We're friends here. We need some heavy duty vertical storage. I'm pretty verticaled out. Once the shop reno happens and the reimagining of the shop happens, I'm gonna have Mike in. We're gonna be working on it together probably. Working on how to properly utilize the space. I don't think it's that far off, but there are things that could happen that change the entire flow of the space. They don't complain when you pay them. I have never paid. We do tradesies. Family show. Okay, let's get back to talking about making things and how much we like making things. Like 12 or 16 black and yellow storage totes with labels. There's no chance that that's a thing that can happen. Come on. I'm gonna rebuild that whole side and have a proper bench with doors and drawers and things so that hopefully that mess can get figured out. That pegboard will become some kind of cabinet. This pegboard will become some kind of cabinet. This cabinet under my jointer is gonna become a new cabinet and get emptied with all the garbage paint that's in there. Hope Chris is having a great time. Miss him jumping in at times like this. Bet he rewatches it later. Zero chance. Zero chance that he watches this later. Just make a wall full of black and yellow totes. But they stick off the wall. I can't lose 2 feet of width on my shop. That's not a thing. Anyway, there will be an upcoming reimagining and rejigging of the shop. It's one of my resolutions this year, so we know that it's going to happen. For sure. Because I made it a resolution. So there's no way that it can't happen. Because I committed to it. Even one sideways row of like 6 would make a huge difference. What does that even mean? Sideways row of 6. Well, where would go in the totes? Well, like, I can't. We'll talk it through. But like, I can't imagine what I would be putting in totes and storing up on a shelf. Like, why even have them in the shop if they can be in totes? If they can be in totes up on the shelf, I might as well just sell them. Because I obviously don't need them enough. As opposed to being in a cabinet with drawers and doors and stuff. If I can put them in totes and put them up on a shelf, I probably don't need those things and I should just get rid of them. Built cabinets on both sides of my shop. One cabinet is 1.5 feet out from the wall. A hanging cabinet comes out about 2.5 feet. All cans of lacquer and glue. Hand power tools in one. I can't have my circular saw up in a tote up on the wall that I have to climb a ladder to go get. I'll never go get it. I might as well just sell it. Just saying, I've met me. If things are stored away in a tote up on the wall, I might as well just not have it. Frees up counter space for you till you need it. Well, that's the idea of the new cabinetry with the doors and drawers. I'll show you the, well, we'll talk about the new design for the wall unit that's up against that wall and what is going to be stored in it. And then the new under cabinet for the jointer station. Fill the totes when I finish projects for sale and then take the totes to the market. Yeah, see, there you go. But those can go inside the house. Finish projects for sale don't need to be in the shop anymore. I've got space in the house for finished projects that are for sale. The shop is for the shop. It's for making stuff. Once stuff's been made, it can get the fuck out, basically. Except for the things that I want to be able to see. Like the segmented bowl is right up there. The adequate bowl, the first lidded box, stuff like that. Stuff I want to be able to see. Finished projects I want to be able to see while I'm out here can stay in the shop. Smoke. And probably beer. And wife backing in. I have general shed stuff in totes. Concrete tools, paint roller sleeves. Yeah, that's all inside the house stuff. I also built a storage area on each side of my shop that runs front to back. Keeps the things up on them. Rarely used tools, Corian slabs, table saw, guitar, building jigs. Yeah, everybody's figuring out their own storage situation. I absolutely don't have the right one. I should clean things up well enough to do a shop tour before the reno happens. That's the thing that should happen. Say, like, this is how I've been using my shop for the last 2 years. 3 years since the last. When was my last shop tour? It's probably 20. It was a while ago. But yeah, just clean everything up to the point that I can do a shop tour, and then gut it and do the reno. Used to be real crowded when I built acoustics. Got rid of all my stuff a couple of years ago. Well, yeah, because you probably had like a Go Bar station. Is that what they're called? You know what I mean. For pressure fitting. Pressure fitting the bits when you're making acoustic guitars, all the bracing and stuff that goes inside. I thought my shop was messy until you panned around earlier. Now I feel better. That's what we do here. We make each other feel better. Except for you guys towards me. Okay, basically what I'm here for is to make you guys feel better. Be nice, maybe if once in a while it went the other way, but you know, it's fine. It's you know, what else? It's okay. Like I accept compliments also. Just so in case you guys were wondering, Still photos work well too. Then you can flip between to show each wall area for over tons of panning shots. What I'll probably do is I'll get the shop clean, and then I'll do a shop tour video of this is the current state of my shop. Let's look at it. I'm shutting her down for a month. I'll see you back here in a bit, and then I'll do another shop tour video, and then nobody will watch that shit either. Go urinate beside my house while I'm smoking this cigarette and feeling sorry for myself because my friends are terrible. And my shop isn't that bad right now, you guys. Like it's obviously it's not ideal, but it's in a better state that I've worked out here in its state being much worse than this. You guys ever touch one of those fancy Festool MDF tables? I've touched one. I haven't used one. I've touched one when it was on display. And I was like, I don't get it. This seems like thousands of dollars for a piece of MDF with fucking holes cut in it. But everybody's got to make their own decisions on their tool purchases. I understand the benefits of the whole matrix in the MDF tabletop for use with Festool products and things. I get it. If that's the direction you want to go, more power to you. I am very close, like closer than I ever have been before to buying a domino. Because there are some projects that I do that would very much benefit from a domino. I do a lot in my like big furniture pieces. I do a lot of floating tenons. And I have some project ideas, some furniture project ideas, some major furniture project ideas that I would like to move forward on in the not too distant future. And floating tenons are going to be a good way to go with a lot of it. So I probably will end up with one of those. All I missed something. Who was it that worked at Woodpeckers? Woodpeckers was Country Road Workshop. Country Road Workshop. I forget his name. He made my mugs, my Mike's Wooden Things and Stuff tumbler. It's part of the 5,000 subscriber giveaway. I feel really, really bad right now that I don't remember his name. Eric Witzel. You used to sell at Rockler, learned to hate it based on how snooty the festival customers always acted. Yeah, I get that. There's a hoity-toityness to a bunch of like tool woodworkers are a really good group of people in general and openly accepting and things. There are certain quarters of us who are overly judgy in various ways. Like, oh, you didn't hand cut those dovetails? Or like, oh, you used a domino? Or like, oh, why'd you use plywood? Like, there are certain I don't know. It's like, why can't we all just like, however it gets you there? I'm happy for you. You know? I don't know. She's like, oh, I would never use Ryobi. Like, just get the fuck out. Why are you even talking? Just shut up. Whatever you want to do that you enjoy your time and gives you the results that you want, that's the right way to do it. You know? The shop stool would have been great. It would have been done 2 years ago if I had a domino. If I could have dominoed that shit together, it would have been done. Done. The UJK Parf thing to cut your own seems useful, and you spend $1,000 or more on accessories. Yeah. Since you like Australian stuff, Triton is not from Australia. Triton is a UK-based company. My guy Hammer Sound said, keep an open mind. It's like there's, however you get there. That's like I like to show lots of different ways of doing things because I like to find lots of different ways of doing things. None of them are the right way to do it. I'm never going to claim that this is the right way to cut dovetails or the right way to cut a mortise and tenon joint. It's just how I did it this time. Did it work? Then it's the right way to do it. I made this fucking hatchet. Guess what the right way to rehandle a hatchet is? Not to put the thing on upside down when you've cut your nice tight shoulders, to sit on the edge of the hatchet. That's not the right way to do it. I figured out the wrong way to do it. Put it on upside down. Like, let's just stop being judgmental about the way that other people are doing things. You're using a domino, that's great. You're using hand cut mortise and tenons, that's great. Using shoulder planes to clean up things, that's great. That's great. It's all great. You're using garbage spruce from Home Depot to make a workbench, that's great. Does it get you a workbench that you can get working on? Fuck yeah. Pocket screws, fantastic. Let's get making. There's another system called beadlock. That's true. With the strength of a domino at a lot less price. But it's not as quick. It's individual drill holes. I gotta go zit, 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 instead of zit. Very used to Teams and Discords. That's gotta be in relation to something else. Aussie is just another UK territory. Oh. Let's not, because I mean technically the Commonwealth, so are we. We would, yeah. Should never make fun of someone who makes tellies. Shouldn't you? I wouldn't if I didn't know that I could in good fun. If somebody that I wasn't friends with sent me a picture of a Telecaster they made, I'd be like, fuck yeah. Get her done, yo. Because it's you, I know that we can have this fun relationship that we have. Like the one that I have with your mom. See, it's just, I said I was going to leave moms out of it. And your mom is, honestly, she's probably dead. Rest her soul. And so that made it even weirder. Sorry, my friend. After your last video, you're pretty good with a drill. Sometimes the drill is the only thing I can think of. I was watching that edit back and I was going like, why didn't you just take it back over to the bandsaw, idiot? Well, you didn't at the time because everything had now been shaped. So now that the handle is all shaped and contoured and things, it's not going to rest nicely on either the bed of the bandsaw or the fence of the bandsaw. And you putting it into the bandsaw to clear out that wedge could end up twisting because it's not secured in any direction. And I remember thinking it in my head while I was churning it out with the drill. But then when I was watching the edit, I was like, why didn't you just bring it back to the bandsaw? Oh, right. That's why. Because I'm sure what would have happened, because I was so frustrated at that point, I would have just brought it over and been like, and it would have gone, and it would have probably snapped the blade and made a big mess in there. Not the right way to do it. Obviously not the wrong way to do it either, because I have a perfectly functioning hatchet. Wait, you didn't dig out the wedge and put it back on? You shaped a whole new handle? No, I didn't. What? I put the head on upside down. And then I had to dig out the wedge with my drill. Because I made a stupid, I wasn't paying attention. It's what happens when you lose focus on something. Can't believe you tested it on your bench when you were done. Why not? It's a bench. I just did it right now. When you said bandsaw, I thought you meant cutting the handle off. No, I meant to like redo the split where the wedge goes. I was cringing at that as well. It's a workbench, you guys. Like, it's nice, but it's got dings and nicks and scratches, and it's a workbench. You should be able to hit your workbench with a hatchet. Could have clamped it and used Japanese saw. It's true. But at the time, I was quite angry. I'm going to be honest with you. I was angry at myself for making the stupid mistake. And the only thing in my head was get the fucking wedge out of there and make a new wedge and do it again, you stupid dummy. And I was like, just get it out of there. We'll fill it with epoxy if we need to. Just get it out of there so we can put the thing back together. You're such an idiot. I hate you. It was emotional. And so that's what happened. I got it out with the drill. It's a beautiful, wonderful hatchet. And it's a workbench. Yeah, stupid tripod. I have to buy a new tripod. This thing is... I'm not going to go with Joby again, for sure. Look out for splinters. Oh, so I'm just going to take this little rasp right here and just like smooth these out. Little chunks that I just took out. Just smooth them over a little bit. So now I don't have any. Now I don't have any bits sticking out on the edge of my bench. Woodworking is happening. Oh! There we go. So now we're doing live woodworking. So now we just rasped off those like hatchet marks. I'll take a random piece of sandpaper that's laying here and just smooth those out. And now, fresh new edge on my workbench. Ta-da! I did something. No, I can't really say I made something. We can say I did woodworking on the show. I hit something with a hatchet. I rasped off that edge and then sanded it flush. You had to warn him, yeah. I'd seen a cross wedge once. I don't know what's a cross wedge. I have a tusk tenon in a table that I did. If that's what you're talking about. I'm sure I watched a video like 5 years ago. That bench looks like Douglas fir or close. The bench is cherry and Douglas fir. It's a lamination of Douglas fir and cherry with a Douglas fir and cherry leg vise. Now for some custom creations wax. Oh, I should. A little bit of custom wax. What is custom wax on that edge? Sure. Why not? There we go. Good as new. Right on the edge. It's not going to show up for you. But little chamfer. There was always a chamfer on this edge of my bench anyway. It's a T-wedge in each direction. Oh, in the axe handles and stuff? Yeah. Those are cool. I wasn't about to put that much effort into a $15 hatchet that I left in the yard. For the first time in a while, I have no tellies or bodies for sale. Well, you're slacking off. Got to make some more stuff tomorrow. Yeah, I want to... You know what I want you to make tomorrow? I want you to make Corian Telecaster templates for your friend Mike in Canada. Thin line Telecaster templates for your friend Mike in Canada. And he'll make artistic F-holes and things for them. They can be a collaboration effort between Waldrop Guitars and Mike's Wooden Things and stuff, or Rivendell Guitars if I ever get that shit going. And we can make a combination effort of artistically Telecaster things. But hard to tell from the tiny picture. J&D and Eric are not the same person. J&D is a hill giant. They're both bearded fellas. I guess I can see that. J&D used to hang out here, but I haven't seen him in a year. Well, the time frame for him doesn't work quite as well either because he is on the other side of Australia. And if you don't know this about Australia, it's relatively large. So when my show goes live, it's like 6 o'clock in the morning for him. For Eric, it's like lunchtime. And he also like is not a good friend. So even if he was available, he probably wouldn't come. He shows up once in a while, but mainly by accident. That would be cheap to ship. Yeah, just don't send it by UPS. We'll save $80. I've got MDF Telecaster templates. I'm still working on my own guitars. Just thinking, like, you got one you can trace out. If you don't really have anything else to do in the shop tomorrow, you just like route me out a template. Fire it in the mail. Yours are probably going to be better than the one that I'm not quite sure about that I got at a garage sale. It wasn't a garage sale, but it was a Facebook Marketplace. Like Telecaster template, MDF Telecaster template for $15, and I was like, sure. Yeah. I don't trust it. That's what I'm saying. Beer. And I have a couple sets. A couple sets of Telecaster hardwares. Because I did have plans to do a thin line. But I have lots of plans. We all have many, many plans. They don't always all work out. We just have to keep putting one foot in front of the other and make our way through the world as best we can. Being kind to each other and taking care of each other and supporting each other. Apparently, except here, where it's just like bash on mic time all the time. Made me think of the guys at JTA. I don't know what that is. Eric Lips. Remind me again. I know your name. Remind me again where you're at and why I know you. Are you an Australian? Trying to think. It's been a while since I've seen the name, so you're going to have to give me a reminder. My master templates are MDF. Only use them for making replacements of my templates that I use to make my working templates. So you have like the master template, the current template, the future template, and the one that I make all the other templates. Ann Arbor, Michigan. Okay. So unfortunately, our friend Eric Lips is probably a Michigan Wolverines fan. Let's not hold it against him. We're all friends here. We can. Sports is a different thing. We can separate sports from making things. It'll be okay. We can still be friends with each other. Master template, working master template, and the working template. And then they get shuffled down the line. When this one becomes too worn out, this one shifts into, it's like how I do with sharpening. It's like, well, this one isn't as sharp as this one, so let's move on to this one. And then when this one gets too dull, this one's sharper. And then eventually, oh, I was just thinking about this the other day. Is it just me, or does anybody else hate sharpening? I literally thought the other day, you know what I should do? Instead of spending an afternoon sharpening, like a new Veritas low angle jack iron, it's like $40. And it's ready to go when it shows up. I literally thought about just ordering new blades for my Veritas hand planes instead of spending the time to sharpen the ones that are in there. And I'm not a wealthy individual, and I'm not but I was like, damn, I just want these to be sharper, and I don't want to sharpen them. How much is the new one? It's just, I know it's terrible. And I didn't do it. To be fair, I didn't do it, but I thought about it. You have a Wolverine jig. I know, but it's not even take it back to the grinder. It's like on the diamond stones. I just don't want to spend the time to get it sharp again. I'm just like, I guess it's laziness, maybe. It's just like it's not what I want to spend my time in the shop doing. Like, I would almost rather pay $40 to not have to spend my time in the shop doing sharpening. There was a there was a moment where I thought, just order a new blade, it'll be ready to go. Like, treating Veritas PMV11 plane irons as disposable, not okay, I'm not treating them as disposable, but like, I don't feel like sharpening it right now, so I'll just order a new one for now. I'll sharpen them later. I kicked myself pretty good for thinking that. But there was absolutely the thought that was just like, in 4 or 5 days I'll have a new fresh one ready to go from them, and I can just drop it in and go. I don't have to sharpen this. There's a video called 32 Seconds to Sharpen. It doesn't take that long to sharpen. It's just annoying because I got to get all my shit out and then do the operation and then reset up the plane. Not reset up the plane, but you know what I mean, right? Like, you take it out, you sharpen it, you get it back in and reset it up, as in the and the depth and everything. It's a I hope you appreciate that I'm being like an open and honest, disgusting individual right now. We have a free sharpening. I have a free sharpening class, and all the students sharpening for it. Yeah, just pop by and have them resharpen. No, I'm not going to trust your students to resharpen my Veritas hand planes. Come on. I sharpen in my recliner in front of my TV. I just don't like watching TV. Maybe that's it. Maybe I just like. I mean, I know that's what needs to happen. You just like put on a podcast and just get it done and do them all and blah, 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 blah. My chisels are dull as shit right now, too. I should just spend the day and just sharpen all of my stuff. I don't wanna. I'm being very vulnerable right now. Like, I just don't wanna. And I don't even know how else to explain it. Why can't everything just stay sharp forever? The YouTube money must be nice. Yeah, that's actually the actual reason why this show is happening. It wasn't because of all the cancellations and the problems with my scheduling. It was because I needed the YouTube money to pay for my extra hand plane blades. Because I'm all about them dollar bills, yo. I have a set of shows. I work on projects. I don't need to pay attention. Still want to get through the show. Yes, and that's what I would want to be paying attention to, the sharpening. I just don't wanna. Life isn't fair. I know that some of you understand what I'm talking about. I'll get them all sharp. I'll spend 4 hours on an afternoon sometime and just sharpen everything up. But there was a point where I thought, in 3 or 4 days, you can have a brand new Veritas PMV11 blade for your plane. If you don't feel like sharpening it, $40, or I don't know what they are. It's irrelevant because I make YouTube money. It doesn't really matter what they cost. Because I don't know if you guys know this, but like I'm kind of a big deal. Sorry, I don't. I sharpen everything with whetstones, even my carbide bits. I also sharpen my saw blades myself. I know, but you can't like it. Like that can't be a thing that you want to be doing. Maybe it is just me. Maybe some people actually, maybe everybody else actually likes the process of sharpening tools. And I just don't enjoy it. I enjoy the results of it. And I do it. But I want to just be working. I want to be making stuff out of wood. I don't want to be spending my time sharpening things. Fearsome likes sharpening. My only problem is I sharpen mid-project and should have stopped earlier to have. Yeah, I know. I'm the worst. Some people get the satisfaction of making a sharp blade. I get the satisfaction of having a sharp blade. I would happily pay somebody I trust. I should teach Mikey B to sharpen my hand tools. So I would happily pay somebody who knows how to sharpen hand tools to just sharpen my hand tools so that I don't have to do it anymore. I just don't like doing it. Every time I have to do it, I'm like, I wish I was making stuff out of wood instead of sharpening steel. Steel is dumb and cold and I don't like it. I want to work with wood. And then yeah. It's part of keeping my tools ready to make money. Yeah, I know all of the reasons. I just don't. Maybe if I got into more of a routine, like if I did it more often, I wouldn't hate it so much because it would be quicker and just titch back to work, titch back to work, as opposed to like, fuck, everything's dull. Now I have to spend an afternoon sharpening everything. I'll just, you know what? I'll just spend the money on new blades every time. I'll just be disposable blades on all of my hand tools. I'll use it for a couple of months. I'll throw it in the garbage and buy a new one for $40. So what you're saying is you just want to own a CNC loaded with wood and say, here I am. Yep. That's exactly what I'm saying, Paul. That was a really good interpretation. In what world is that an equivalency? How could you have possibly got that from what I said? Are you still planning the trip? Are you getting things ironed out for your early fall, I think, trip up to my area? Miguel, are you still coming? End of June? End of July? It'll be weird. Won't it be weird to like actually meet you guys in person? I'm doom spending on hand tools for the apocalypse. For the apocalypse. There you go. Doom spending. Just get a bunker full of hand tools. Little like brace and bit drills and stuff. Doom spending on hand tools. That's what I'm doing too. That's what I can use as an excuse when the wife looks at the bank account. I can be like, because who knows when the world's gonna end. I'm gonna need these. Like, look, I can split wood. Still be there end of June, first 2 weeks of July. A few days in Vic, but most of it will be Mid Island. No, in a couple of weeks if it's also a house hunting trip. At a guy. End of June. If you guys wanted to come for a painting class, I don't know if I have. I think I might have scheduled one for the last week of June. You'd have to look it up, but I remember us talking about how I was going to try to schedule a painting class, but if the first bit is in Vic, then that won't work. I don't think I have one in the first section of July. Except for power tools. Try to make the most of the tools I use. I hope we all try to make the most of the tools we use. I hope we all try to make the most of all of the time we have here. We're flying out the weekend after the 27th when school's. Okay, yeah. No, I don't think I have one for the first little bit of July. Actually, the new July schedule hasn't gone out yet, so I could plan one. Or you guys could schedule a private painting class. A romantic date night at the Crow's Nest. Just you guys and Mike teaching you how to paint a landscape. That'd be weird. Let's not be awkward. I try to make by hand my tools. Grew up on a farm and learned to do a lot of stuff. Still apply it in my life today. I didn't. I'm growing more and more every day in terms of appreciating handcraft and all of that. All of that. Then just making things. My wife could teach you how to paint as well. Well, I don't want her to come if she's better than me. like I think we've talked about it before. Like how all you need to do to teach is know more than those people and be able to get that information across. If she knows more than me, I don't want her in my class. Defeats the whole purpose. You get to make tools and send them to YouTubers who don't use them. I'm going to use one right now. Fuck you. I'm just going to put a nice little chamfer on the edge of my bench. This piece of cherry right here on the edge of my bench. With a Paul Waldrop little bronze hand plane. There you go. That's not bad. Was that looks like it needs sharpening? Why would you send it to me dull? You know I don't like sharpening things. It's also, I've actually thought about using this as a shoulder plane. Because, and I absolutely could. me just go ahead and get some new finish on the edge of my workbench. Now that I have a fresh new chamfer there. A little bit right at the edge where I came off. All right. There you go. Fresh new chamfer right on that section of my workbench. Thanks to Paul's shoulder plane. Rabbit plane, I guess. Little bronze rabbit plane from Paul Waldrop. There we go. Let's probably get this wrapped up. I just want to keep hanging out all night. But I don't know how much power I have. Didn't plug things in today during the day. I still have some percent left. We can hang out if you guys want. What do you guys want to talk about? We got another maybe half hour. Probably not. Let's be supportive of each other for the last half hour. What are things, anything that you guys are proud of right now that you've done the last little while that you're proud of and you want to celebrate? I will celebrate them with you, my friends. Except Paul. Paul can fuck off. Because he's just way better than me, and we've established that already. So, who was it? Okay, who was it that had the giant block of Bubinga? Todd? Todd? Was it? I think it was Todd. Celebrate Michigan craft beer. You send me some. I've not ever had Michigan craft beer. I make my final house payment this week. That is absolutely worth celebrating. My friend, you're going to fully outright own your house? That's rad. I probably will never own my house because I will probably die before my mortgage is done. I gave my dogs a bath a few hours ago. Their hair is super soft now. Yay! And you get to hang out with dogs. So that's worth celebrating too. I have often and historically regretted not having and wanted to have a dog as a friend. Just never been in a situation where it was the right decision to make for both of us. I've never thought that I was in a position where it would be fair for the dog to be. I always felt like it would probably end up being neglected, and or I would be emotionally damaged by not being able to give it enough. I've wanted a dog my entire life. Let's put it that way. And it's just never worked out to be in a situation where that was a good decision. I have a big one I could smuggle into Canada and leave in your backyard. A dog? No, that was probably from before. gave my dogs a bath. Yeah, birthday present for Sven. Sven's not a big dog guy. He loves dogs to see them, and he loves how cute and fun and awesome they are. He's not a big like up in his face. Dogs often like get excited to see him and come up and like start doing, and he gets really really tense and is not a fan of dogs in that way. And I just want to like wrestle him, like have one. It's actually the second time I bought my neighbor's house and moved my parents in literally next door after they had some medical issues. This is the second time you've paid off an entire house? God. Geez, nice to see how the other half lives. Can I borrow like $40? I said, half Great Pyrenees, half pit bull. 150. You can't drop your abandoned, like you can't the dog you don't like anymore. You can't just like drive up here and leave in my backyard and then cruise off. No. I changed my answer. You can't just like drop your dog you don't want off in my backyard when it's basically a horse. I'm gonna have to clean up the shit all the time. Like, no. But I also don't want you to drop a little dog off at my house. I want a good medium-sized dog that we can be friends with, and he can be inside or outside and not cause a significant amount of damage to either one of those places. The work is more than people realize. Dogs aren't a picnic. Yeah, I know. That's why I always think that I want a dog, and then I realize that that would be irresponsible. What if he drops off some pecan boards with the dog? That's not helpful. That doesn't make up for the fact that I now have a giant dog who probably sucks because Paul didn't want him. If the dog sucked enough that somebody else didn't want him and left him with you, then I also don't want the dog. I've always wanted a husky. They're about the right size that you can like wrestle with them and have fun and stuff, but they need a lot of exercise. And I don't know if you guys know this, but I am not a healthy man who can do a lot of exercise. I also really, really like Bernese mountain dogs because they are super chill and awesome, relatively large, but not stupidly large dogs. It's probably never a thing that's going to happen. I'll probably never have a dog, and I'll die. I'll be laying on my deathbed going like, fuck, I wish I would have had a dog friend. But it is what it is. You can't go through life dwelling on what's not. Beer. You got to go through life appreciating what is rather than dwelling on what's not. Huskies gotta be watched all the time. They dig up and go after everything. Bad choice for a first dog unless you're really into training and control. And yeah, we are in total agreement. I know that these are not responsible decisions to have made. And that's why I have made all the way along. I've made the responsible decision to not have the dog. I'm mad about it. Like, well, I'm not mad about it, but like, I don't want a shit dog that I don't want. So, and you're not in a place where you can get the dog you want. So don't get a dog. One of our little ankle butters got lost about 3 weeks ago. Thankfully, he came back because he's my little road dog, half beagle, half Chihuahua. See, I probably am a little bit, I guess judgy is the best way to say it. Like, I don't think I probably could love a little mini dog who is a good friend of mine. I probably could. I don't want to. I also have a problem knowing. I guess at this point I might not, but knowing that you are going to outlast them and you are going to have to deal with their end. I don't like that idea. Like, I think I kind of want to get a dog. Like, I kind of want to get my best friend dog when I'm like 60. If I make it to 60, I might just get a dog and have him be my best friend, knowing that I might go first. I don't know. It's getting grim. Let's be happier. Let's talk about happier things. Paul, that blue guitar is awesome. Yes. Yes, it is. And it's beautiful quilting, and you're welcome for teaching you how to dye wood, basically. I did, like, basically I'm the one who not true. Not true, but it's funny. There was a discussion one week. He was struggling with getting dye on a figured piece of wood. And I had him dial back the grit, and it worked a lot better. So, sanded at 600 today and starting putting a light coat. What are you finishing it with, Paul? Is it Polly? Thanks, Wooden Things and Stuff. I came here and learned. That's right. Don't come here to learn, but you're allowed to learn while you're here. You're not spraying, right? You're like, it's a hand applied. Guy that did those bows that I was working on today was just dripping shellac all over the place when he was doing those. Damn. Armor Seal Satin Poly. Nice. And you build up, 4 coats, and then scratch it back with like a Scotch-Brite. And then a couple more. What kind of, are you looking for, like a super gloss? You got some custom high speed, or some custom grit you can buff into it if you're looking for glossy gloss. It's not going to give you a glossy gloss, but I prefer a satin finish on things, especially guitars. I don't like this super shiny reflecty guitars. It just looks fake. But we can all like a good lick. We, I'm starting to slur. Okay, it might be time to shut her down. I'm starting to slur. Still having fun though, and you guys are still here. I had 5 coats on it, used 3 2600, go lightly 600 to 12 2000. Use white Scotch-Brite. Yeah. Approved. It gets the Mike's Wooden Things and stuff approval. Sounds like a good plan. And then in between doing that, you can cut me out a Corian Telecaster template, fire it up my way, and I'll make some telly bodies, and we'll call them Mike's Wooden Things and Waldrop. Mike's Waldrop guitars featuring no no it'll be shiny but not obnoxiously shiny. That's where I like things to live. I like all of my things to live there. Like this is a nice satin finish. It's shiny. It's not obnoxiously shiny, and it would be, well, this is a tool, but like the Unity coffee table, all of the things that I make, I like to be shiny, but not like when the sun hits it, you have to like look away. I like a semi-gloss or a shiny satin. Usually do oil finishes, so this is a new learning experience. Got tired of paying someone to do it for you. Yeah, I get that. Sometimes I go the other way and just like think maybe I should just pay somebody else to. But I do like the finishing process myself, because then I get to decide like what do I want to use, how shiny do I want it, how much penetration do I want. Settle down. Do I want a deep rub finish? Do I want to build a finish and have it look not plasticky isn't the right word, but like, do I want to have those layers of protection on top? Finishing to me is fun. Finishing is way more fun than sharpening. I would much rather spend my time finishing stuff than sharpening things. But I want to have my things sharpened. Like, I want my stuff sharp. So, yeah. I'm going to teach Mike to sharpen hand plane blades and chisels. And just pay him to do it. And have him come over once a month on Mondays and just touch up all of my edges. That's a really good idea, actually. Maybe don't buy the domino and put that money towards Mike sharpening my hand planes and chisels once a month on Mondays. It's a good idea. Mike. Mikey B. Let me know. Finishing can take weeks. Yes, it can. Yes, it can. Depending on what you're using and what your process is, finishing can take weeks. And I would rather take weeks to finish something really, really nicely than 4 hours to sharpen all of my shit. I can send you a set of plans to make yourself a wooden sharpening jig. Of course you can. It doesn't mean that I'm gonna want to do it anymore. I got the Veritas Mark II honing guide. I've got my DMT stones. I get like it's not that I don't have the stuff to do it. It's I just don't want to. I want to have my stuff sharp and I don't want to have to do it. It's like driving into an oil change place. Like you can do it, but it's just way easier to. I'm not doing that. Oh, damn it, Mike. Okay, I'll just put a poster up at Windsor. Not your Windsor. I'll put a poster up at Windsor Plywood and be like, looking for a sharpener. Somebody who doesn't suck, who appreciates hand tools, to come and sharpen my blade. No, I won't. I'll just take him over to Brad. I can just pay Brad. Never mind. Fuck you. No, you don't have to. I'll go get Brad to do it. I know Brad knows how to do it, so I don't have to train him. So I can just take him to him and pay him money, and he can sharpen all of my blades. Yeah, no, I'm good. I worked it out. He doesn't want to either, but he probably will for like 20, 30 bucks. Yay! I figured it out. My boy Brad will absolutely... I'll just bring him a box of things to sharpen, and he will sharpen them for money. He will probably enjoy it, and I will help pay for his kids' volleyball expenses and things. Yeah, I'm happy. Okay, we're good. Yes, perfect. Solving problems. There we go, Sean. The heck do you know about going to oil change places? I went to one once or twice. That's how I know. Shut up. We're not talking about it. Go back to your mini trucks. Oh, you said you were actually doing woodworking in your shed? What are you actually making? Are you making little bridges for the course out on the side of the hill? Damn, never seen Mikey a bit loopy. Mikey B? He usually has either a few drinks or a couple of puffs out in the shed. Making a wooden cooling rack for my wooden things and stuff. Me? Oh, yeah. No, once in a while I get a little bit. Yeah, sometimes the tipsiness comes in. But like I only had one slice of pizza for food today. So it's hitting a little bit at this point after whatever 8 beer. Wife's been asking me to do it for 8 years, so I figured I'd get to it. What's it, like a wooden cooling rack? Like for baking and things? Metal is probably better for that, but yeah. Just making little stick things that sit on a thing. Send me a pic. Anything that anybody makes rather than buys, I am all for. Time for bed. Take care, guys. All right, Todd. We'll see you when we see you. One of these weeks, I'm going to take a week off. I keep saying that, and one of these weeks, it's actually going to happen. But no guarantees when that is. Thanks for coming. Such a good idea. Just take my stuff to Brad and just pay him to sharpen all my shit. I might send him a message after this show. Be like, the team determined that you are going to sharpen all of my tools. For money. I will put it towards and honestly, like, Brad is such a good dude. Like, he'd probably be like, you know what? Just give it to Canadian Cancer Society, or like, I'll sharpen all of your tools in exchange for $100 to go to the Hospice Society or something. Like, that's the kind of dude that he is. If you guys remember, some of you might, when I tried to do a podcast, he was the second or third guest on my podcast. He's a nurse at the hospital, local woodworker guy that I had on the show. Lives, I could probably hit his house with an arrow if I made a bow out of bow dark. He's, in fact, he's the hoodie. Rough Seas Woodwork that I was wearing before I took it off because I was too hot. Because, let's be honest, I'm pretty hot. And you guys gotta keep talking if you want me to keep going. Otherwise, I'm just gonna keep talking to myself, and I'm gonna get bored, and I'm gonna shut down the show. So, if that's what you want, I'm happy to shut her down and just keep drinking by myself in the shop. If you want to keep hanging out with me, you gotta keep talking. Or I'd go get the guitar. I'm not gonna go get the guitar. I think we've talked about the quandary that I'm having with the music situation, right? Gonna go, yeah, okay. Sean's gone. McGill's leaving. Brian just showed up. We're getting close to shutting down, I think. Brian, thanks for coming though. How is the are you on the excursion to the YouTube camp thing? 10 killer? Waldrop's leaving too. Wifey's birthday tomorrow. Hey, happy birthday, wife. It was my boy's birthday yesterday. McGill's out. Thanks for coming, my friend. You're always welcome, always fun. I'm at the 10 killer meetup that we were talking about. Yeah, that's awesome. That would be super fun. I would love to go to a gathering of people who do this and just spend a weekend talking about all the ups and downs and pros and cons of all this nonsense. Shouldn't be sharpening after midnight, but it's okay. The training wheels are on. You got a Mark II? What's your training wheels? I've heard lots of people say that the Lie-Nielsen sharpening wheels gripping system is better than the Veritas. I have no frame of reference for that. But we've already established that I don't want to sharpen anything. And I'm willing to pay somebody else to sharpen my things. So that should tell you something. That's just not what I want to spend my time doing. I want things to be sharp, and I don't want to spend time sharpening. It's a quandary. I want everything to be sharp all the time, and I don't want to spend any time sharpening. It's a problem. About to listen to Shop Talk Fine Woodworking podcast, Sweet Rides for Woodworkers. Those are two different things. Shop Talk is a different podcast than the Fine Woodworking podcast, Sweet Rides for Woodworkers. I have listened to that podcast. It's good. It's okay. I prefer the Fine Woodworking podcasts that have Vic Desselin in them. Yeah, I think he's more fun than some of the other people who do that podcast. But it's a great podcast. I listen to everyone. I actually watch everyone on YouTube. It's one of the very few things that I spend time on YouTube watching / listening to is the Fine Woodworking podcast. Because they know what they're talking about. They have really good people. Hi, Brian. There's tornadoes in Oklahoma. Oh, geez. I think we had a discussion about that a few weeks ago, about as long as the tornadoes are over there. Fine Woodworking. Shop Talk Live. You're right. They have a bunch of different streams of things. Mike Ben and Anissa is pretty good. He's pretty good. Mike Ben and Vic is better. Anissa, Ben, Anissa, and I forgot his name. He left last year. Ben, Anissa, and him were also a really good podcast, and I forgot his name. He was going to move to Thailand, and Barry Dima. Ben, Anissa, and Barry were awesome. Ben, Mike, and Vic are awesome. It's a good podcast. They have a lot of good information, and it's soothing to listen to. I often, when I'm out in the shop, when I'm filming and you guys see me filming projects and I have my earbuds in, that's probably what's happening, is like back issues of the Wood Talk pod, or the Fine Woodworking podcast. Vic is awesome. Did you see the Mark Spags commented on it? Guess whose hand this is? I did not. And prayers for everyone. Stay safe in Oklahoma. Stay safe wherever you are. Let's all just take care of each other and have thoughts for each other wherever we are and whatever the difficulties are. Vic has 25 small tattoos on his arm. I have one tattoo. I have one tattoo. The first and only tattoo that I ever got was right at the top of my spine. Maybe I can show it. I don't know. It's I was about 19-ish, and it was right at the top of my spine in the middle of my back, and I had big plans to have that be sort of the centerpiece and then come out from there. And as soon as Guy put the needle into my skin, it was so much pain. It was so painful. I was like, I have to fight through this because now I have ink in me and I have to let him get through this. And it like, he actually asked me, like, if you like, you need to stop twitching. I'm like, oh, okay. I guess I'll just stop twitching. Like, and so he finished off that one, and I was like, I'm never getting another tattoo. It's fucking stupid. Like, that hurts so much. But it's because the decision that I made for my first tattoo was like, there's skin and then spinal cord. Like, why would you do that as the first tattoo you ever got? Why would you put it on a place where there's this much meat and then spinal cord? You fucking idiot. So I probably could. I would like to be a tattoo guy, but I can't. I can't because of how much that was, how painful that was. I have all kinds of awesome ideas for things that I would like to put on me as art to be permanent, but I'm like, it just hurts so much because of where I got the first one. Mary May. That's funny. Yeah, Mary May is obviously the person with the huge amount of hand tats. Hello! Nadia showed up just in time for the wrap up of the show. We're just talking about how, Nadia, do you have any tattoos? I don't think we've ever had that talk. We were just talking about how, like, my first and only tattoo was so painful that I can't convince myself to do any other tattoos. Even though I would like to be fully arted up, I made a bad decision on the first one. And because of how much it hurt, I can't bring myself to do that again. I should just, like, I design whatever I want right here and just have, like, nice meaty spot. A nice meaty spot without a whole lot of nerve ends that connect to your brain immediately, like my spine. Just get something awesome right here. Did you ask if I have tattoos? Yeah, that's what we're talking about right now. I know Jason goes and gets tattoos relatively frequently. I have one tattoo and it hurts so much. I had large plans. I had big plans for tattoos, and then the first one hurt so much that I could not convince myself to ever get another tattoo. No tattoos here. Childhood friend is a tattoo artist, moved to Seattle. It's really stupid that I haven't gotten one from. No, I obviously haven't seen all your tattoos. If you're, I'm asking you if you have any. Where are they? Are they in, like, weird places? Like, they're obviously not obvious. We've never had to talk about tattoos. It's because you cover yourself up too much. That is sounded weird to say to your female boss, but you know what I mean. You do. You're a fairly covered person. I have one. You've never seen my tattoo. My one and only tattoo. Which screwed up all of my future tattoo ideas. Because of pain. My first tattoo was on my spine also. It's embarrassing. It's a paint palette with Chinese symbol that means painter, but not the right kind. It means house painter. But not if you don't tell anybody that that's what it means. If it's just a Chinese symbol, there's come on. You're the only, you can say whatever you want that means. No, my first one on my spine. I don't know if you were here, but there it is. And I put it there, and me and a friend of mine got them together when we went to Vancouver for a Counting Crows concert, which is still one of the best concerts I've ever gone to in my life. The Counting Crows are awesome live, by the way. And we got those together. I got mine on the middle of my spine. She got hers on her shoulder, which had a lot more meat on it. And she got hers first, and she was like, "Oh, this kind of tickles. Like I can feel it, but like it's kind of like a bzzz kind of thing." And then I got mine right on the middle of my spine, and I was like, "Damn, I'm out. Tattoos can suck it." I would like to do some more art on me, but I can't convince myself because of how much that hurt. I have a full arm sleeve and 2 wrist tattoos. How do you miss that? That's a pretty good question. I'm just not looking for him, I guess. I don't know. You don't have a sleeve. And maybe it's because you're like often super covered. And I'm not looking at you. I don't know. Let's just make fun of Mike some more. Like he doesn't fucking know what's going on around him. Yay. That's just not what. Stay safe, everyone, and prayers. Thank you, everybody. I also hope that everybody else stays safe. Especially, like, if there's Oklahoma tornadoes and things, like, for sure. I'm not looking at you. Well, I haven't been scoping up your arms, okay? And you're sleeved and stuff all the times in your hoodies. Whatevs. Maybe you should publish some photos of you in a room with paint splatters. Want nerdy tattoos. Yeah. That's what I want to do too. Like my original idea was a Canadian maple leaf with. I had some awesome ideas about like depicting my history across my back, but now I just want like Lego Gandalf. And like an Iron Man over here and a Hellboy over here, and just like I want to. But I can't convince myself to do that. A, because tattoos are stupid expensive and I'm poor. And B, it hurts so much. So, yeah, I don't know. I do want Lego Gandalf. I think he'd be rad. He would represent Lego Gandalf would represent a lot of things to me. It's right up here. Just right below the elbow, Lego Gandalf right here. And then I could build out from him. That'd be awesome. All right. I think maybe one more beer. And we'll shut her down. There's still some people hanging out. So why not? What are we at for time? Oh, never mind. We're going to wrap it up right here before the YouTube shuts it down because I ran out of battery power. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe, everybody. Thank you for coming. And we'll see you probably next week and probably every fucking week. Even when I try to cancel the show. I am, at some point this year, I'm going to take a goddamn week off. Be kind to each other. Stay present and love each other as much as you can. Be supportive to other handmade artisan crafters. And we'll see you next time. Stop buying things from Amazon and Temu.